Also Millersburg. I mean, those dots really mark the spots where we're getting the rotation that is likely perhaps some very small tornadoes, but nonetheless they are moving to the north and east very quickly. So as we take this out a little bit so I can give you an estimated time of arrival of these possible tornadoes here, I'm going to have to push back a little bit because, again, these are moving so fast that it's going to be a lot of the screen that is encompassed by our little ETA box here. If we take that up to about 55 miles per hour in the direction that they're moving. If you are in Edgington, you are in line for that northern possible tornado. If you are in Perryton, you are also in line for that southern possible tornado as well as preemption eventually. But there you can see the rotating portion of this particular thunderstorm moving toward the Metro Quad Cities. We'll be looking at arrival here at about 2:18 right after this warning ends, and that's going to be about 20 minutes away or so. So it's not taking long for these storms to cover any ground. And as we take a look at, again, this in motion, maybe we can give you a better idea of just where these are going to be moving. And again, they're coming out of Mercer County into southern Rock Island County. I'll get a little bit closer once again. Probably not familiar with these colors on the radar, but this is the portion of Doppler radar that is actually the Doppler. This is indicating where the movement is within these storms. And when we have these little bullseyes of rotation, that's where we're likely seeing the actual tornadoes themselves. And you can see on various modes of the radar, we do see these showing up. I've got some word from Teresa.
And we do have a new tornado warning in effect for Henderson, Mercer, and Warren counties until 2:30. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Seaton, about 9 miles northeast of Aquaka. That is moving northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So that's just to the south of the initial tornado warning that was just issued. Again, this one in effect for Henderson, Mercer, and Warren counties until 2:30 this afternoon.
Okay, trying to take care of some bugaboos here technically. And here's that southern tornado warning that Teresa was just talking about. It looks like I don't know that Sunbeam still exists as a town, but let's give you some perspective here. There's Alexis on the right of your screen, and then if you go right down that road to the east, that would be 135, it looks like, or First Avenue. Now we're getting into a portion of, I've got to back out and orient myself here. North, boy, it's like the triple point there, that little dark spot where we have Henderson, Warren, and Mercer County meeting just to the direct west of Alexis there, near Highway 135, right over 10th Street. There you can see this area right here, which could possibly indicate the presence of a tornado. Very rural area here, but again, if you are in that area where you're in northwestern Warren County and you're in an extreme northeastern Henderson County, just where everything kind of touches there with Mercer County just to the north, these are areas where you want to take shelter. I'm going to back out again so I can give you an idea of how much time we have for you folks in the path of this storm. And again, I would assume that this one, just like the rest, pretty much moving to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So this is going to be toward Viola by about 2:14. Onto Orion, this particular storm, 2:33. Hopefully this rotation will not last that long, but nonetheless, you are in the path of these storms, so you'll want to keep an eye on things and be ready to take shelter. And anybody in these storm zones, be ready to take shelter simply because these storms are moving so fast that we don't really have time to find out where the tornadoes are from the Weather Service, particularly, and then give you warning. So you just have to kind of look at the radar here, and if you are near any of these particular areas that I'm going to point out right now, Buffalo Prairie, if you're around Buffalo Prairie, just and look at the new radar scan. One radar scan, and that thing just jumped probably a good 10 miles or so, and now it's off toward Edgington. So we're looking at this area here. If you're in Edgington, take shelter. If you're on the Iowa side of the Mississippi here, from Buffalo down toward Montpelier, you want to be taking shelter because this one will go over the river, no doubt about that. If you're north of Perryton toward Reynolds, these are areas here where you want to be taking shelter. And again, now it looks like the rotation from our southern tornadic warm storm, that has moved just to the north of the border of Mercer County and Warren County. So right there, just on the east side of Highway 94, we're west of 67 now. This is where 67 makes that a turn to the east-west. If you're going toward Monmouth, you make that turn to the west, and then you head straight south again. If you're heading toward Viola on 67 from Monmouth, this is where you take that turn to the east, and then you head straight. So there's Alexis just on the edge of this warning, but there is the tornadic portion of this particular storm. So again, what we'll do is go a little bit closer, and I'm going to loop this here the last hour, and we're going to see a lot of movement here because, again, these things are moving at about 55 miles per hour. So I think I can get on the screen now. I think we have fixed our technical bugaboos, but this is the rotation near Edgington. This is going toward Buffalo, Iowa, so this will cross the Mississippi. North of Perryton, we have that rotation there, and that's going to go up between Preemption and Milan, so that one will cross Highway 67, and again down to the south here. And this is our southern storm is actually within a severe thunderstorm warning as well. There's the rotation, and this is the northern border of Henderson County here, Warren County here. This is the rotation in the storm. So if you're in these rural areas, say west of 67, they're in Mercer County between 67 and 94. These are the areas just north of that county border that you need to be taking shelter right now. And again, as we go north, there you can see our two rotations. A little bit more substantial in the fact that they're a little bit more, in terms of the fact that they're a little more obvious right now. So these could actually be some of these isolated tornadoes we were anticipating with the rotation of these storms, maybe making it to the ground. And the problem here is, it doesn't matter that it could be an EF0 or an EF1, a very small tornado. Fact is, these are moving at about 55 miles to the north and east. And Teresa, as you drop this map south a little bit, I just want to show where the Metro Quad Cities is, because the rotating portion of this storm, the northern one here near Edgington, look at where that's headed. If you take a jump from that northern line of the warning box, and because it looks like it might be moving a little bit north of that, that puts it in the heart of the Quad Cities this afternoon. I mean, right there's downtown Davenport right there. There's downtown Rock Island. This part of the storm is going to be moving very close to the heart of downtown Davenport and downtown Rock Island if it doesn't change path. And at this movement of 55 miles per hour, it won't likely go far north or far south of the line that it's on right now, which will take it very close to pretty much the heart of Davenport if this rotation holds up. At this speed of movement, sometimes things can wash out pretty quickly, but we've seen this rotation continue to be rather prominent on radar. Oh, I thought you had some new info.
Okay, no new information just yet. The National Weather Service has just now issued a tornado watch in effect for parts of our viewing area because we are seeing all of these strong storms and, yes, even tornadic activity taking place. This just occurred. This continues, let's see, until, I believe, 6 o'clock this evening. So, yeah. Again,
everything in yellow here is now a new tornado watch, and right. That's because what went from an isolated threat, well, you know, we were anticipating more of a wind threat, and we still have that with this line of showers and thunderstorms here. These thunderstorms very strong and likely to produce some strong winds, and again, straight line winds. We're not talking derecho, but we're talking a lengthy north-south corridor of strong winds, straight line winds on the leading edge of these storms, with perhaps isolated tornadoes. But now it appears that the Weather Service has just gone and said, you know what, with the fact that we're getting some isolated tornadoes right now, let's go ahead with that and with that theme and issue these watches ahead of the line of storms. Now, in yellow, that's a severe thunderstorm watch. It's the red where you see the tornado watch, and that actually does not include any portion of the TV6 viewing area unless they decide to extend that back a little bit west, because there you go. That's exactly what's happening right now, and that's because if we go toward at least Knox and Stark County here, and there you go, areas that are just about to be kissed by this line of storms. So we have a severe thunderstorm watch, but more importantly, we have a tornado watch that goes ahead of that and along this line of storms right here. So this is our situation right now. We do have tornado warnings, and I guess we can probably get a little bit closer in on that now that we've shown the watches for Rock Island and Mercer County, and also a tornado warning for portions of northern, I would say Warren County now, based on the movement of that storm, and still southern portions of Mercer County in Illinois, the Illinois Quad Cities. So again, when you see a line of storms like this on radar, and this is our cold front here, by the way, this is what we've been waiting for to end our warm snap of weather. But if you see a line like that, you notice that it goes from nothing to very heavy rain extremely quickly. And with that north-south line, what you can really just extrapolate is the fact that as that bears down on your town, there will be a lot of wind with it. By the way, northwest of Des Moines, that's some snow. We're not going to see that because, as you can see, that is moving north, and that will be into Minnesota. But for us, our concern here are the storms that we have progressing through the area right now. So let's get back to our tornadoes that we can at least see on radar, and I will get that, well, not looking as obvious right now, which is good news. Here we are. I guess I'm a little bit off to the west there. All right, so our tornado warnings continue for Rock Island and Mercer County, and also southern Mercer and then northern Warren County. And what we're looking at here are these two areas of rotation. Let's just get right in on these because these are moving pretty quickly. And if you're in the path of these, I want you to know. So Buffalo, Iowa, Andalusia, Illinois. Right now, if you are not taking shelter, you might be late because, well, there you go. The radar scan just updated, and that's just how fast these are moving. Looks like it's kind of ragged now, so not quite an obvious rotation, at least approaching West Davenport, but there it is around Bluegrass and West Davenport, Buffalo, that broken line of rotation there. Now we see another area that could be a bullseye for rotation. This is heading toward Milan, and even as I say this, it's moving so fast, it's probably getting into Milan right now. This is the last radar scan, and you can see that this is just about out of the warning box. This rotation right here, there's the edge of the tornado warning, and there's Milan. So if you're in Milan, southern Rock Island, Moline, you need to be taking shelter right now because as we zoom back or push back out, there you can see there's the path of this storm right into this area right here. And that includes southern Rock Island, Moline, East Moline, Carbon Cliff, Silvis, etc. Don't pay attention to these times. I'm just using the fan to show you where the storms are likely to go. Now, as we drop a little bit farther south to our second warning, again, this is probably a little good news. But if you're in Alexis right now, that is where the rotation is overhead. But as I say this, you know, these storms are moving so fast, this could already be over North Henderson. So the deal of the day here is the fact that we've got storms moving at about 50 to 60 miles per hour to the north and east. So right now, if you are in the path of these storms, and we do have some new severe thunderstorm warnings to tell you about.
We do have a severe thunderstorm warning now in effect for Scott and Henry, as well as Rock Island, Whiteside counties until 2:45.
All right, yep, and there you see the warning boxes. What you're looking at, a lot of wind on the radar map here. That's the green and red. That is not actual precip, but we can show you the rain and where it is moving right now. And again, until 2:30, we have that southern tornado warning, which has been clipped a little bit in size. But we've got, as Teresa just mentioned, we've got those new severe thunderstorm warnings, which include the Metro Quad cities and points just east into Whiteside and Henry County, Illinois. Also Knox County under that severe thunderstorm warning. And our tornado warning has just been clipped off a little bit to account for the movement of these storms. So let's go to right now and let's see if we can find out where those rotations are. And again, approaching Milan, probably on top of Milan when the next scan comes down. As we look over Buffalo, that one has kind of become somewhat ragged, but if you're in west or northwest Davenport, be ready to take shelter. You should probably be taking shelter anyway because you're under severe thunderstorm warning now. Give it about another 20 minutes, and those areas of rotation, if they still exist, will be passing you by or past you to the north and east. And then around Alexis to North Henderson, you folks need to be taking shelter. I would indicate that Rio and Alpha, you folks need to be getting ready to take shelter as well, because when the next radar scan comes in, this area of rotation that we're showing you right here over Alexis, this is likely to be over North Henderson, if not a little farther northeast. That's just how fast these storms are moving right now. So as we push back a little bit, I'm just going to try and scan here for some more indications of rotation, and I really don't see anything outside of those bullseyes that we've been talking about. This is just kind of weather on the fly right now, folks. But again, if you are in Rock Island County toward Milan, between Taylor Ridge and Milan, especially toward Milan, you need to be taking shelter. Moline, Coal Valley as well. As you go over to Buffalo, that sky must look pretty interesting if you can even see it with all the rain, but it looks like the rotation portion is a little bit less obvious now. And then when we drop a little bit farther south, we go to our second tornado warning. This one's out till 2:30, and this is rotation that's over Alexis on this radar shot. It's only 212. This is going to be out of that warning box well before 2:30. It probably already is at this point.
And Eric, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour winds, hail just a little less than 1 inch in diameter, possible tornado for Henry, McDonough, Mercer, and Warren counties. This in effect until 2:45.
Okay, yeah, it's this one right here.
Right.
Henry.
Yeah, Henry, McDonough, Mercer, and Warren counties until 2:45.
Okay. So okay, I see it. Yeah, there it's this is a very strange box, but here it is. It's this one that goes all the way down here. And it's a very tall box, but that's right on the leading edge of the storms right now. And the radar shows you why they issued that warning, because look at that. There we have that line of storms bearing down Monmouth, Roseville, Abingdon, Bushnell, Good Hope, Macomb, some of these cities already in those storms. But again, these are going to be strong wind producers, and also the potential for isolated tornadoes. Now we're down to just one tornado warning right now because, again, that northern circulation seemed to kind of tear itself apart, but there's still a warning in effect there for that isolated storm that is, or I should say that isolated rotation that's right around Milan there. So I'm just going to leave this here, and I will show you right now that this is the area of rotation right around Taylor Ridge, and this is Milan here, and it is moving this way. Northeast at 55. In a second, this is going to flash with a new radar update, and I'm certain that this area of rotation will already be somewhere, and disregard Fruitland. Obviously, Fruitland, Iowa is not in southern Moline, but please disregard that. We are aware of that. We have had some issues with our radar, putting towns down where they don't belong. Disregard that, but don't disregard the fact that there's Milan, there's southern Moline, there's the airport there, and this is right where that is heading. If you're in Coal Valley, I would be taking shelter right now, because really the next radar scan that comes down, this area of rotation, which is this red blob here, is going to be much farther to the north and east, toward Milan, toward Moline, not toward Fruitland, obviously, just erase that, but also toward Coal Valley, somewhere probably in this area. So again, if you are here in the southern Quad Cities, do be taking shelter. That rotation up toward Buffalo seems to have become somewhat ragged, but still, if you are anywhere between Bluegrass and West Davenport, be taking shelter. Really, anywhere in Davenport, you need to be taking shelter because, again, the severe thunderstorm warning, which does include the entire metro Quad Cities, so that's the answer right there. Taking shelter anywhere you are, and we do have these specific areas of more concern. These are our tornado warnings. At least the tornado warning just seemed to drop off the screen. Teresa, has that been allowed to actually expire?
I believe it has. Yes, it has been canceled.
Okay, all right. Well, so, and we only got a radar update right up to there. So I can't show you where that area of rotation is now, because it looks like see, this was already on the screen, but it got updated right up to those pixels. And so I can't show you where this jumped. But nonetheless, we are dealing with severe thunderstorm warnings. And let's review that for the time being. We'll go to radar, and we'll go a wide shot up and down the whole line from north to south, Teresa, if you will, because these are the active severe thunderstorm warnings that we have. This one here, this includes the Metro Quad cities and points east into Whiteside County and Henry County, Illinois. This is till 2:45. And again, you can see what's happening here. Some fast-moving thunderstorms. A lot of rain, hearing it on the roof here at the studio. By the way, again, the update, thankfully, our tornado warnings have expired. So we'll be jumping back to programming here in just a moment. But as we move south, and boy, that rain really just picked up. I don't know if you can hear that on my microphone or not. We've got another severe thunderstorm warning, and this one is a very tall warning. I mean, it goes from this line right here all the way down to McDonough County. Henry, McDonough, Mercer, Warren County. That warning goes till 2:45, and there's also another warning in here that includes Knox County and Knox County until 2:45 as well. And that's all for the warnings, the active warnings right now. But the whole area along and east of the Mississippi River, if you hit watches there, Teresa, I don't know if you can see that, the top line, you will get the tornado watch, which now does include eastern Iowa in terms of Jackson, Clinton, and Scott County, but Rock Island County, then down to Henry County, Knox County, and points east. That's our tornado watch. At this point, the update is that we are no longer dealing with tornado warnings. We had that rotation in the clouds. It seems to have gone away. Not a concern to the Weather Service anymore at this point. So what we will say is, now that we have these storms moving into the eastern QC, if your weather deteriorates, don't wait for a warning. Get into shelter, because these are moving very quickly. About 55 miles per hour to the north and east. Already our roof is quiet. That's just how fast the rain moved through. So for now, we will take you back to programming. Stay with KWQC. If we get any more tornado warnings, we'll certainly let you know immediately, and be prepared for that. And when your weather turns bad, if you're east of this line and still waiting for it, don't delay. Take shelter, because these storms will whip through your town really quickly. And if there are damaging winds, we could see wind gusts between 60 and 80 miles per hour for just a brief amount of time, but that will cause damage, and those are dangerous. So if your weather deteriorates, just don't wait for the warning. Take shelter and stay with TV6.